Good morning. My name is Agatha Tutia. I also go by Aggie. This is work for my master's degree in the MHCID program at the University of Washington. I will be presenting on behalf of my co-authors on our research on menopause during our capstone project. For our capstone project, myself, Lon, and Kelda, we dedicated 11 weeks of research to exploring menopause and later designed a solution within 9 weeks. While we did present a solution for our capstone project, we decided to solely focus on the research we did for the Kai case study. So why menopause? Well, we never talked about it. When we were mind mapping areas focusing on women empowerment for our subject matter, we realized that we didn't know what menopause was. Our mothers never talked about it with us, and it hasn't really been vocalized by public media today. In the same way that menstruation is. And we wanted to understand, well, why is that? After all, half of the world's population will go through, is going through, or has gone through menopause. In 20 years from now, my team and I will be going through it, and to be honest, we were a bit upset by our own lack of knowledge. And for the benefit of those who don't know or haven't experienced it, I'll be explaining a little bit about what menopause is. Menopause is the body's permanent end to menstruation. That means no more periods, no more eggs to release. It's the end of our fertile phase in life. It also occurs in stages. When you begin to experience signals like your period becoming irregular, you are in perimenopause. This typically occurs in your mid to late 40s. Once you go without your period for 12 cycles, you are officially at the menopause point. Afterwards, you are in postmenopause and with higher risk for osteoporosis and heart disease. Signals can continue forever, though they typically last up to 10 years and peak around the menopause point. But just like how every experience is different, each signals are different, each timeline is different. It's important to note that menopause can actually be induced through medical means. People who have their ovaries surgically removed immediately enter menopause. And people who go through chemotherapy or radiation therapy also transition into menopause, but can return to their fertile phase after treatment ceases. Instead of the word symptoms, we decided to call the effects of menopause signals, because menopause is a natural human transition and not a disease. Common signals of menopause include irregular periods, vaginal dryness, hot flashes, etc. But all kinds of signals can happen in this period of life. We knew the physical and biological aspects of menopause, but we needed to explore the personal and emotional menopausal experience. And we asked ourselves, what is the menopausal experience and how do we design for it? As we began our research, we quickly discovered only a small selection of about 3 to 4 menopause papers within the ACM digital library. At the same time, the published works only really focused on solutions, and we saw an opportunity for us to share solely our research findings and contribute what we could to the community. After asking Daniela to be our advisor, she recommended to read more on intimate design. Our research became heavily impacted by Teresa Almeida et al.'s call to action for the HCI community to stop being embarrassed by the sexual parts and to design more for the intimate spaces. Along with the lesson from Marie Sondergaard's work from Intimate Futures, to respect the body and question the effects of a technological solution surrounding intimate experiences. The more academic lens led to a revising of our research question. How can we avoid framing menopause as a problem requiring a single technological response? And instead, how can we, the HCI community, design for the menopausal experience? We wanted to share our findings with other researchers and help destigmatize the sexual parts of the body. We recruited our participants by posting flyers in various socioeconomic ranging neighborhoods in Seattle, advertisements on Craigslist and Reddit, reaching out to various groups on Facebook and Meetup, and through word of mouth. We really wanted to avoid a homogeneous sample. We conducted 6 semi-structured interviews, a 2.5-hour workshop, and 3 final semi-structured interviews based upon the previous 2. The interviews and workshop were audio recorded, transcribed, and thematically coded and reviewed. Our sample involved 17 cisgender women, including 7 mothers, 6 non-Caucasians, and 2 women who underwent hysterectomies, the surgical removal of the uterus. We had 1 transgender man who completed 1 survey, but after several attempts, we were unable to connect with the individual. Since menopause is a taboo topic, we coordinated a workshop to form a safe space for personal testimonies and natural conversation to emerge about their experiences. Preparing for the workshop was extremely crucial to crafting that right energy for our participants. In preparation, we had 9 cisgender women confirmed, 8 showed. We sent a friendly and clear email prior to the workshop. I made signs for the door, to the restroom, name cards, name tags, all in the same visual design language. We primed the main walls with 6 posters: health, knowledge, public life, relationships and family, self-image, and other, for the affinity diagramming activity. Within each theme, we posted quotes from the first round of semi-structures to allow participants to become more comfortable with the concept of ideation. Our first activity, we asked them to write a letter to their pre-menopausal self. We wanted to learn what they would tell themselves reflectively now that they were experiencing or have experienced menopause. We then had the women, if they wanted to read out loud their letters, to break the ice and get conversation going. We told them that they could write on Post-it notes during the focus group anything that stood out to them to put on the posters later, while the researchers did the same. After the break, the participants wrote their observations about menopause on Post-it notes, worked in pairs to organize the notes into groupings, and then each chose a note that they would like to see changed for themselves or a note that they would like to see changed for the community. From our first insight, we noted that because menopause is a stigmatized topic, our participants encountered a culture of silence that limited their exposure to the menopausal experience and made them feel emotionally and practically underprepared. During the workshop, Lucy, a Vietnamese immigrant, shared a story about her mother, who had an adverse reaction to hormone replacement therapy, a treatment meant to ease the transition. She was bleeding out of the blue after not having a period. She thought she was dying and went to the ER. My sister and I started bawling on the phone that Mom is dying. And that was it. Never discussed again. Mom went home. That's it. I'm fine. While she wasn't able to break the silence within her family and struggles with connecting with her own group of friends, Lucy is being proactive today by taking classes with her teenage daughter so that they can both better understand their bodies and keep history from repeating. In our second insight, we saw that participants describe experiencing a fluctuating loss of control over their bodies. In the photo, you can see a Post-it that says, "I feel like I'm going crazy," which was a common phrase said by our participants when they were experiencing signals like hot flashes or being overwhelmed with emotions. But they didn't know that what they were experiencing was menopause and they couldn't truly attribute it to anything. Others, when they did know that they were in menopause, were simply annoyed by their signals while having a generally positive mindset. From our third insight, we learned that participants found the effects of non-induced menopause as deeply intertwined with wider attitudes and understandings around aging. In non-induced menopause, aging and menopause are concurring. Biological changes that occur while aging are also happening when you're going through menopause. This can make it difficult for people to assign their signals to aging or to menopause. At the same time, participants express experiencing discrimination from being an older woman. One participant explained, "You become invisible." In our final insight, we saw that participants' responses to the end of menstruation consisted of a range of emotions from relief to regret. On one end of the spectrum, people were glad to be done with menstruation and not having to pay for tampons or pads anymore. But on the other hand, it can be more sensitive. One cancer survivor who had her ovaries removed and thus inducing menopause recalled the surgery as one of the most difficult decisions she ever had to make during this entire journey. She had hoped to have children one day. It's important to know that there are people who revel in the end of menstruation and two people that mourn the end of their fertility. Overall, we looked at how the menopausal experience actually has a wide range of challenges that requires a wide range of solutions, and to be understanding of the physical and emotional transition that occurs from perimenopause through postmenopause. Concluding our case study into menopause, we hope our research encourages a variety of designs for the variety of experiences that is menopause and the aging body. For instance, a smart bra that cools you down during a hot flash. Maybe it's an interactive story map or a personalized guide to your specific signals throughout your journey. We also see the need for additional research with transgender populations, global perspectives, and induced menopause groups. We need to do more, and I believe that we can do more. It's 2019, y'all. I would like to thank our participants and everyone that supported us in humanizing this experience. I look forward to seeing how menopause and HCI impacts the world. I'm interested in future collaborations and seeking PhD programs that align with these values. I'll now be taking questions.
Okay, so can I ask if anybody does have a question? Okay, then it's my fun part as chair to ask a question. I think it's a very interesting study. I'm going to be honest, it looked a little bit corporate when you had the setup for your workshop, so did you do anything to break the ice during that? Because it looked very nicely set up, like perfectly set up. Yeah. And I was thinking, like you said, very well at the start, it's quite a personal subject to bring up. So how did you get that people to relax a little bit?
We had a little table of a lot of different foods, and we brought in our personal mugs. We also we thought about where we positioned ourselves in the very beginning. So we had someone like at the door always watching. We had people like greeting people while like they're waiting and introducing, helping them set up, giving their name tags, and just getting some conversation flowing. So we were already kind of primed to just start talking.
Let's bring the mic to you.
Hi, Marie-Louise. Thank you for your great talk. It was super interesting to hear, and I look forward to read the paper. I have a lot of questions, but one of them is that I've heard more menopause talks here at CHI, and they are all trying to critique their solutions. They come up with different solutions, and they feel like these solutions are just destigmatized, or they're just stigmatizing menopause even more. So there seem to be this kind of like resist to actually design for menopausal experiences because they are stigmatizing the experience, and you cannot design a universal experience or universal solution for menopausal women, right? Mm-hmm. So I was wondering on your reflections on these proposals that you have in the paper of different designs you could make, and why you didn't choose to make any of them.
For the capstone project, we actually ended up creating a solution. It's just not talked about in the paper. I will say after talking to the different women, there's definitely a need and a desire for solutions. There's a Facebook group that I'm a part of just 30,000 menopausal women, and you can just see that like they're trying to get more information, they're trying to learn more. So there's these pockets of different types of needs that I definitely believe like there should be some sort of community, or there should be some more design solutions for it. And I think that's probably going to be with co-design. I think like having the women in charge of like what is it that can help me be a better, go through this better transition is definitely there.
Hi, thank you. Yes, enjoyed the talk a lot as well. My name's John Rooksby from Northumbria University. I was just wondering if you could say a little bit more about what you meant by intersectional recruitment, and maybe explain how you went about that, and perhaps comment on whether recruitment is particularly, it's always difficult recruitment, but is it particularly difficult in this area, and do you have any advice for recruiting women to talk on this subject?
Okay, I'll try to break that down. Intersectional is making sure that it's just a wide-ranging population. So you're having people who are trans, you're having people who are of different races and different cultures. So I guess it's just like that lens of, like, there's feminism and then there's intersectional feminism. So it's just a lens to, like, really continue forward in that direction. When we were recruiting, it was difficult because Seattle is a bit more like a white population, but we were aware of, like, the different neighborhoods that we could access more ranging populations. I think it's just a matter of, like, trying to be proactive with who you're talking to and being aware of the word of mouth. Sometimes that happens, or whenever you're recruiting from your college populations. I think developing relationships with different communities, reaching out to churches. For one of the participants, I actually, who was the Vietnamese immigrant, I reached out to, like, a church group. And so you're getting these different cultures and different groups that you can try to get to. It was really hard, and I think we could have done more, but I think that's a part of it, just continuing to grow in that.